But let me ask you this question. Are you a NIMBY or a YIMBY? Yes, in my backyard. It's a Queensland group who champion what they call good development, and they want you to be able to do whatever you want on your roof. Natalie Rayment is from YIMBY, Queensland. Good morning, Natalie.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
What are the rules around rooftop development currently?
Well, it's quite fascinating. It's actually something that's encouraged to get our green space, our recreation space up onto the roof. But as soon as you want to put shade over that roof, that's a story. It's very difficult to do in Brisbane.
When you say green space, recreational space on your roof, what are you talking about there?
Well, I guess you're talking about barbecues this morning. There's a lot of barbecues going up onto the roofs of apartments as the communal open space for the apartment dwellers instead of the traditional bit of barbecue, bit of shade trees, bit of landscaping down on the ground level. There's a real strong trend to start getting that green space climbing up the walls, but also dominating the rooftop spaces. It's a wasted space in our cities, and there's been a trend to start planting them up, putting barbecue facilities up there, pools, gyms, the planning scheme just hasn't caught up. It's regarded as a story as soon as you put shade. So we're getting a lot of facilities up there, but people don't use them, particularly in summer or in our subtropical climate.
So hang on, it's regarded as an extra story on top of the building if you put a pergola up or something like that. Is that what you're saying?
If you put a fixed shade that's solid. So a pergola is okay, but as soon as you actually want to cover that pergola and create solid shade up on the rooftop, that's a story under the current planning rules.
And you think that should change?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we need to encourage people to get up onto these rooftops. We need to encourage developers to green their rooftop and provide extra space for the apartment dwellers, and we need to encourage people to then use that space. And, in a subtropical climate, we need to have shade. We're used to our barbecue area having shade on ground levels or on patios. Why not the rooftop?
Yeah, why not the rooftop? Get a view along the way. Is council receptive to this, Natalie?
Yeah, so we're quite excited that our discussion around this topic has got some leverage in the latest blueprint that Brisbane City Council's put out. They've done a lot of engagement with the community. I think 100,000 people in Brisbane have had their say, and they've come out with a new blueprint to guide the way that amendments might occur to their planning scheme over the next little while, and that's made it. Let's shade our rooftops, get some shade up onto them.
Isn't it up to developers, though, to factor that into their planning?
Well, the problem is it's just disincentivised by the planning scheme because you've got a set number of stories. The community gets very interested in how many stories a development is compared to what the neighbourhood plan might say about the number of stories. And so why would you put a little bit of shade up on the rooftop when you could add a whole extra level of apartments?
Love to hear from you this morning. Perhaps if you live in an apartment that's got a barbecue area or a pool on top. I'm always jealous of people who have rooftop pools. I don't know, it seems more glamorous to have a pool on your roof rather than in your backyard. But what's on your roof? Let us know this morning, 1300 222 612. Generally, do you think Brisbane City Council is too restrictive on what they'll allow to be built?
Wow. Okay, that's a broad question. It depends in what area, and I guess that's what we're trying to look at. Where there are traps that are in the planning scheme that are just not encouraging good outcomes, then let's look at identifying those and fixing them. And this is one that's jumped out for us.
When you say good outcomes, what do you mean by that for your group, Natalie? What is a good outcome for development?
It's fascinating. So I'll tell you what I think, but we're actually running a survey right now on our website asking the community what they think is good development because it's such an interesting topic to me. I say it's a development that gives something back to the community, so it has a community dividend, or it's a development that has a great design outcome that's going to contribute to our city, contribute to our skyline, contribute to the character of a neighbourhood. I say it's development that has something innovative about it or, really sustainable features. So I've tried to group it, lots of examples, but I really want to hear from the community what they say.
But then do you have a responsibility to use and care for that development? Because I'm thinking about the North Lakes example that we've talked about over the last couple of weeks, a residential development set around a golf course that apparently locals love because they like the look of it. but they're not actually members of the Gold Coast or golf course. Less than 2% of local members are actually of local residents are members at the golf course.
Yeah, well, I think the golf course development, there's not too many of them. Maybe less people are playing golf these days. I'm not sure what's happened there. It's certainly, as I understand it, and some of the discussions I've heard on radio, is that people might not be members of the golf club, but they certainly enjoy the open nature of it, the green space. They walk their dogs through it. They walk through the area. They might just not go and play golf.
Natalie, it's really interesting when you look at development, and the Brisbane City Council has released its blueprint talking about character homes, zoning issues, and for you, you're trying to champion that rooftop development. We hear a lot of not in my backyard, but you're from the organisation Yes in My Backyard. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much.
Natalie Rayment, and that organisation YIMBY doing a survey as well about what is good development, which is a really tough question to answer.